Clap it up, ladies and gentlemen. This book is fantastic. You recommended this book to me. You did it. This book is fantastic. It was so fantastic, I finished it in one sitting, something I haven't done with the Goosebumps book in a long time. Actually, ever since Werewolf of Fever Swamp. And coincidentally, Werewolf of Fever Swamp was a book that I love so much that I had no issues with it. I thought it was the perfect package. Series 2000 has a new perfect package in the name of Creature Teacher. 2 words. This book is flawless. I cannot think of a weakness or thing I don't like in this book. Pacing was perfect. I love the main villain. I love the protagonist being a comedian who makes jokes when he gets afraid or nervous, something that I do, all right? That is in fact something that your boy does. I like to be the class clown. I like to make jokes if you don't know. And if I get nervous or if I get in any situation, jokes and humor is my way of getting through it, all right? Laugh through the pain, laugh through my pain. I appreciate the main character, Paul. I love the setting of the book. I love the tension of the main conflict in this book. I love the climax of the book. And I love the twist. There's a main villain in the book, and there is a situational villain. A situational villain in a Goosebumps book. You heard that right. There's 2 villains in this book, and one of them is situational just because of what's going on. I really appreciate that. That's a nice little twist. And that twist ending at the end, that was good. That was good. This book is flawless. I have no issues, which is why before I start this review, make sure to hit that like button down below. Free way to support me. Hit that subscribe button down below. Punch it. Free way to support me. Lets me know you guys like the content, you guys enjoy, you guys want to see more. And comment down below your own thoughts and opinions. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me. What are your thoughts on the book? And what books do you want to see me review and other stuff? Let the community down below know. Because for this review, for all the Creature Teacher fans out there, congratulations. You get the certified ranking for any perfect book. I've made up a certified ranking for the books that I absolutely love. Werewolf of Fever Swamp got this. The Haunted School, despite a little bit of flaws, The Haunted School would have got this rating too if I created it back then. But the rating is going to be in this video. This book gets a certified flawless victory. This book gets the certified flawless victory rating. There is no flaws in this book. I absolutely love it. What's the book about? Paul is a guy who's had nightmares since he was a kid. He's been afraid that monsters will reach up under his bed and take him away. He was paranoid about the dark. He was scared. And now that he's grown up, he's 12 years old. He's entering into middle school. He's gotten to the point that he's not scared of that stuff anymore. He's gotten out of his imagination. Now he can walk in the garage at midnight and not be afraid. Because, of course, monsters aren't real. They don't exist. Creatures cannot be a thing. Right? Right? Paul ends up being a student at a school, and he ends up being the class clown. He causes trouble, he causes pranks. He has his parrot start reciting that the teacher is a jerk, which I thought was funny. He trains the parrot to do that. Then when the teacher blames him, he's like, hey, the parrot did it by itself. I didn't teach it. Hey, I don't know where the parrot got it. He just doesn't like you, I guess. You know what? And his parents, one being a lawyer and one being the president of a company, his parents are very strict. They expect him at 12 years old to know his goals and where he wants to go in life. People at 18 and 19 and 20 kids and 21 and older don't know what they're doing with their lives. So being 12 years old, do not expect that you have your life figured out. Trust me, you will not. Very rare of you will, but most of you will not. His parents are super demanding, and they decide, you know what, we're tired of your pranks. We're tired of your humor. We're tired of you being silly. You need to go to boarding school and get serious. And we're going to send you to a boarding school called the Caring Academy. And at the Caring Academy, they have academic scholar students who are all talented and will train you in that environment to become much better and much more serious. And just like me, Paul is like, This place is called the Caring Academy. You sure this ain't a serial killer's house? Like, the Caring Academy, you guys think that these guys won't kill me? That's not a sign for you? Paul is like me and you. He knows that a place called the Caring Academy, a boarding school that sends you away from any contact with your parents, yeah, don't trust that. And it's a castle on a hill. Why? But his parents, they trust it. They want him to go there. And when he gets there, he notices that all the students act weird. They're all like super like wanting to perfect their talents. They want to be like goody two-shoes. They want to get super good grades. And he's like, why is everybody so serious here? They look normal, like the kids from my public high school, but these kids are all like super focused in on studies and talents and stuff. And they're all obsessed over this talent show. Like, why? So then he goes to his classroom, his main classroom, and he gets there and everyone's acting kind of weird. He meets some friends, Brad, I think Molly, and another girl, I think named, starts with a C, Cassie or Casey, I don't know. Something with a C. But he meets 3 friends, and they warn him, you have to run away from the school. You have to get out of this school. Get out at all times. Call your parents to grab you back. Don't stay in the school. And he's like, this has to be a joke. Because the guy who brought in his stuff with his roommate, Brad, who's one of his friends in the group, he told him, yeah, these kids are going to try to play pranks on you, all right? They're going to try to clown you because you're the new kid. So he's like, all right, these kids are playing a prank on me. When they say that I have to run away from the school because it's dangerous and I might die and my parents need to come pick me up, they're just all trying to play a trick on me. All right, I get the joke. I'm not going to fall for it. He gets to the classroom, everyone's serious. There are kids like pretending to be like acting normal and writing on their desks. There are kids buried with their faces into the books. There's kids that are looking straight, no emotion, just robotic. Everyone's panicking, everyone's scared. And then the teacher walks in, and her name is Mrs. Marg, like Mar, you know, like Aurora. She walks in, and she looks hideous. She's said to have these brown, watery cow eyes. She's got this huge head, huge bobbling head on this big body. She's barefoot, and her feet are described as like slimy because every time they walk, you hear like that splash. She's got these like claws coming out from her like toenails. They're like curved over, these black claws. And she's got slimy hands, and she's got big teeth, a big mouth. And he's like, what is wrong with her? She looks like a circus freak. So everyone's scared for their lives. They're trying to kiss the teacher's butt, be the best person they can, try to make a good impression. And he thinks it's all a joke. So he's like playing along. He's like, oh yeah, I get the joke, I get it. And he starts taunting back and doing stuff back to the teacher, thinking that it's all a prank. He thinks that she's on the prank too, and he's gonna prank her back. So he starts joking, making jokes, and she doesn't find it funny. And then he starts to realize, oh, they described her as a monster. She might be a monster for real. She might be one for real. And then she describes that in her classroom, there's a food chain. Just like back when you were a little kid in elementary, and you had the red light, yellow light, green light, where you moved your gold star up, or your pins up, for good behavior and bad behavior. She has that with something called the food chain. And in the food chain, you either get moved up or moved down due to your behavior and your talents. And if you're at the bottom of the food chain, she's at the bottom of the food chain. But if you end up at the very bottom, underneath her, for being the worst kid in class, at the end of the year, after the talent show in which everyone has to perform, if you fail that and you have bad behavior, she will eat you. She admits that she will eat you. And he's like, you're joking. And he realizes, oh, she might not be joking. She's freaky. She's weird. She's a monster. Because she pulls off her broken fingernail that he stepped on at one point. He stepped on her barefoot. Her fingernail, her claw broke off, and she threw it up and ate it. And he's like, oh my gosh, she's a monster. And then one day he walks into her after he's like, he meets Marv, who's her son. And, you know, the friends try to warn him, but he talks to the son. The son's nice, but, you know, now he gets worried that, oh, I just talked about how bad this teacher is, and this is the kid's son. You know, the kid's son. Really, BD Mom? Really, BD Horror? It's Mrs. Marv's son. He's going to tell her about all the bad stuff I said, so he's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go apologize to her before she finds out. He goes, and she, straight up, picks up a mouse out of one of the cages in the classroom, bites its head off, spits it on a cracker, and goes, hey, Paul. Ow. And of course, he does the only appropriate reaction you could ever do. I'm effed. I'm effed, bro. I'm not built for this. When you realize you're not built for this, Paul had that realization. He's like, I'm not built for this. This is not my story. I am not built for this book. And he realizes, oh my God, she's a monster. I gotta either perfect a talent because I have no talents. I gotta find out a talent, or I gotta escape. Those are my only options. So he starts trying to hone his talent for the talent show because he knows if he ends up at that bottom of the list, and he's already done plenty of bad things to make her upset, he has to do well in the talent show just so he doesn't end up at the bottom. And turns out that when the talent show rehearsal starts, him and his friend Brad have a lot of bad stuff happen to him. Brad has like this pure skunk fluid get poured down his violin, I guess, holder, and it stinks up the room. And Mrs. Marv finds out what was the cause of the smell, and she just drinks it. Everyone's like about to vomit. And then Paul finds like little holes in his balloons so he can't blow out balloons, and she punishes him for that. She's like, you know what, Paul, you're at the bottom, you're gonna be my meal. And he's like, how did this happen? So he realizes someone's sabotaging him, and all the points lead to it might be Marv, might be somebody else he doesn't know, but he's getting sabotaged. So now that he's at, he's on thin line, he's on thin ice, he's like, you know what, I have to do it. I have to stay up all night, I have to practice, I have to find a new talent, I have to do something just so I don't end up, because if I don't, I'm going to be eaten. And then he's like, you know what, let me try to find exit, routes all around, the school. If I can find something, I'll escape. And you go through this tense atmosphere where it's just constant tension. You're so worried that this guy keeps messing up and keeps doing stuff wrong, and Mrs. Marv hates him more and more, getting ready to eat him. And he's like, you know what, please, you're like praying, please, Paul, please do well, please something good happen for Paul. It gets really stressful, and then you get to the end, the climax, and the climax is horrifying, because the climax is straight up nightmare fuel. You end up thinking, oh, this is it, this is done. And then there's a twist where you find out the situational villain, and you're like, you are a piece of trash. All right, I understand kind of why you did what you did, but you're a piece of trash. All right, you find out who's been sabotaging, and you're like, oh, you're a piece of trash. The situational villain, horrible. And Paul's put in this bad situation, and then it seems to be resolved, and then you get the twist ending, and the twist ending is just the right amount of the rock face. You don't know if it's bad or good. You don't know if it's a joke or serious. And it ties back to the prologue where he was talking about his nightmares. And the ending to that prologue ties back to the ending of this book, connecting those two parts together and making for an overall flawless book. I have no issues with it. It gets a flawless victory. This book is perfect. I love the tension. I love the characters. I love the villain. I love the atmosphere. Overall, this is the perfect package for Series 2000. If I have to recommend a book from each series, right now Werewolf of Fever Swamp is a book I'd recommend for OG62. Creature Teacher is a book I'm recommending for Series 2000. And if you guys wish to read it or get into it, please do, because it's amazing. It's fantastic. And I really hope you guys get into it, because oh man, that was great. I loved it, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. If you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below. It's a free way to support me. I enjoy it so much. It motivates me, lets me know you guys like the content, keeps that interaction going, helps us build up the channel, helps us build up the army of reviewers, all right? And yeah, thank you guys for all the help and support. Thank you guys for tuning in to these videos. Thank you guys for interacting with me in the Discord, in the comments. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are a great help and a great motivator, and I'm very thankful for you guys. So yeah, that's it for this review. See you soon for the next upcoming review, whichever one that may be. And that's all I have for today. Deuces. There's a part in this book where he has to start massaging the woman's disgusting, slimy feet.